rolling in from the garden and you don't know what to do with it, or maybe you have a friend who's giving you a bunch of rhubarb and said, here you go, and you have no clue what to do. Well, no problem. I have a way to use up that rhubarb coming in from your garden and transform it into a yummy, healthy treat. Hi, I'm Shelly from Frugal Family Home, where we create quick tutorials to help build your cooking and baking confidence. And today, I have a perfect rhubarb recipe. You can transform those kind of tart sticks of rhubarb into a yummy, healthy treat for your family. And it only takes 3 ingredients and it's super simple to do. So let's get started. I'll show you how to make your own homemade rhubarb leather. Now we have our rhubarb washed and ready to go. We're just going to chop it in about 1/2 inch increments. And then we're going to put it into our bowl and put it into a pot. And now we put our rhubarb into the pot. We're just going to add some water just to cover it. You don't want it swimming, but just enough to cover the bottom, cover it so it has something to simmer in. And then we're going to let it simmer on medium until the rhubarb is softened. Now our rhubarb has been simmered and it's nice and soft. It's kind of fallen apart. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our stick blender or immersion blender and we're going to process it until it's smooth. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can always use a food processor or a regular blender too. Now that we have our rhubarb pureed, we're going to add some applesauce. And I use applesauce so I don't have to add as much sugar. And then we're going to add some sugar also. Now the amount of sugar you add will depend on your taste, but you'll want to leave it a little bit tart because as it dries it will get sweeter. We'll start with half the sugar and then we'll taste it to see how it is. And we'll just blend this in. Now that our rhubarb puree is ready, I've tasted it to make sure it's not too tart, not too sweet, and we're going to add it to our dehydrating trays. Okay, we have our dehydrator tray here, and we're just going to spoon or ladle our puree right onto the tray. And when you're putting this on your tray, you want the edges to be thicker and the interior to be thinner. That way it will dry at a more consistent rate. And then we're going to add this to our dehydrator about 130 to 145 degrees for about 4 hours. And then, or until it's dried and there's no more sauciness to the middle, and but it's still pliable. And here's our finished rhubarb leather. And it's nice and dry. There's a few bubbles here, but that's okay. All we need to do is just lift it up and take it off and cut it into strips. And now we have our pieces here, and we just want to cut them into sections, and I just squirt a little bit and then bend it, and usually you can tear it right along, well, about along that line, and then you just need to roll them up. And that's it. That's how easy it is to make your own homemade rhubarb leather. And if you want the printable recipe, you can look for the link in the description. And if you don't subscribe yet, hey, what's stopping you? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when we have new videos available, be sure to click the bell too. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.